At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we pause to recognize a true legend. We spell it how we feel it, not in block, but in cursive, like the signature of a true legend. It spells Potier. After 45 years of service, Mr. James Potier is retiring.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Steve Holmes. You're watching another episode of The Real. What an incredible moment this weekend. Mr. P is retiring, and y'all, I don't know what we're gonna do, man. That is a huge loss to the institution, huge loss to the Marching Wildcats program. But let me tell you something. They are sending him off right. Amongst that and other things, we're on the heels of homecoming. And, I mean, listen, y'all, it was a great time. It felt like old times again. You know what I'm saying? And I was really... it just felt good. And I was only there for like 24 hours. I snuck in on Saturday, and I was gone, by midday Sunday. So I didn't even get the full experience. But I imagine to the people that were there, from Thursday, Friday through Sunday, that they had a good time. And most of the people I talked to said as much. And I was seeing things on Friday night that they were just amazed at the energy that was back on campus. So I'm thankful, man. You guys and gals showed up this weekend and did your thing and had a great run. So yeah, I'm gonna just warn y'all now. A lot to talk about tonight. I probably not gonna be able to open the phone lines just because there's so many things I want to touch on, and I will try to pay a little bit more attention to the comments tonight, just because I do want to hear what y'all have to say, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to participate. But before we do that, let's go ahead and let's talk about one of our new sponsors, and I got some thoughts on them. But before we do that, let's go ahead and jump right into that. All right, I just messed that up, yo. I don't know what I was doing. I'm gonna talk to you for a second about our sponsor, About Time Catering Food Truck, and I want to pause here for a second because I didn't get a chance to read. My music is messed up, so I won't mess that up. But let me talk about it. About Time Food Truck. They were at They were at homecoming this weekend and did a really good job. It's about time for flavor. Be sure to ask for Chantel or Lex. They'll hook you up with your new favorite flavors. You can follow them on the hottest eats on the move, because great food awaits no one. About Time Food Truck. Good food, good times, good people. On IG, you can follow them at About Time Jacks, and on Facebook, you can follow them at About Time Food Truck. All right, I apologize. I messed that up like really bad. But let me talk about them for a second. So I don't know who all got a chance to visit their food truck. They were right there in front of, I think, the General Studies building in that little parking lot that where all the vendors are, and they did some great work over the weekend. And I just want to highlight them because, number one, they are a sponsor of the show now, and so Chantel Pelzy and Lex, they run this thing, and let me tell y'all, they were in the giving spirit. And we had the homecoming alumni challenge last week, and I was challenging everyone, all alumni, to when you got to Daytona, that you came with the spirit of giving. And they did exactly that. And I even wrote it down. This is what they did. They served 75 students, which amounted to about $1,175 that they basically gave out to students by way of like gift cards or gift or food tickets. And then they gave out an additional 30 gift cards, each loaded with $25 on it, for 30 kids. But not only that, they had, like, I think they called it a giving bin, where they had essential items that the students could get free of charge. All they had to do was come by and grab the things that they might have needed for their room or their self-care or whatnot. Listen, y'all, that is what it's about. Like, I can't say enough about them, but that is what it is about. Yes, we are there for that weekend to have a good time, but if we all came with that same kind of spirit of giving and making sure we're pouring back into our students and their experience at Bethune-Cookman, I mean, I'm telling y'all, we do some damage. We will do some damage. So thank you to our sponsor, About Time Food Truck, and they're gonna be with us until they are like no longer with us. So appreciate Chantel and Lex. I got to meet both of them. Lex is a trip, y'all. She gave me the hardest time trying to get my food. Oh, and the plate of food I got, like a big old thing of fish and shrimp and fries and some good old white bread to go with it. Let me tell y'all something. I tore that thing up, went back to my room, messed it up. All right, so let's get to the show. Actually, no, let me do this. Let's go ahead and check out some of the comments, because I know y'all already live in here. And speak of the devil, not the devil. This is like speak of the angel, Chantel. Happy Intentional Tuesday, Wildcats. Amen. Intentional. Mr. P, a true legend. Yes, the guy is an absolute legend. They hooked him up. Agent says, homecoming truly was a time. Cookman did. They did, y'all. I mean, we gonna get to it. I don't want to get too much into it, but it was a real good time. All right, let me do my stuff now. Let's get to the show. All right, this week's real MVPs. For those of you who don't know what the real MVPs are, these are people who contribute to the show on a weekly or monthly basis. There is no minimum amount required. We are a self-run, self-sufficient stream and platform, so we do rely on the help of you all to help us kind of keep the lights on, so to speak, and to press forward with our efforts and the things we're trying to do with the institution. And so people will reach in their pockets and give us a few dollars here and there every week. And what I like to do is make sure that those people don't go unnoticed, so they become real MVPs. They're people who I shout out weekly on the show. So this week, Adrian has given 4 times this month. Eric 3 times. Theron 3 times. Vernon, whom I met this weekend. Lucretia, who I saw this weekend. Breon, we won't talk about that. Lewis, who I didn't see, and Mr. Willie. And so I thank everybody for your continued contributions to the show. You guys really do help us make a really big difference. So thank you. And if you like to give, the tag is down there on our Cash App. It's $BCU. It doesn't matter what you give. It's all necessary, and we're going to use it. We have subscriptions and equipment and all types of things we have coming up that we're trying to do. So all the support is necessary. Speaking of support, there are 3 ways you can support us. Go ahead. If you have not hit the subscribe button, please do so now. Just go back and hit the subscribe button. All right. Follow us on IG and on Facebook. And then lastly, you can also support us by contributing to the show. All right. So yeah, let's get to some school news. I don't know if there was a big push this weekend with Dr. Mosley, and it was leading into homecoming. I guess he knew y'all was coming into town, and he's like, look, we need people to put their money where their mouth is. So he introduced the B1 of 1,000 drive, which is they're trying to get 1,000 alumni to give. There is no, I don't think there's a minimum amount. They just want 1,000 people to give. I think the number was they were sitting at around 300 or so after the weekend, which is not nearly enough. There were over 10,000 people in Daytona. We can get 1,000. So if you're in here tonight, just hit here's actually, you know what I said I was gonna do. I'm gonna put the link in the chat, and you guys save it. Maybe you don't have it today, but maybe you will. I'm about to drop it in the chat right now, but maybe you will at some point. Let's see. Can I pin this? I don't know if I can pin it, but whatever. But that's the link right there. I just put it in the group. If you want to give to the school, any amount, 25, 50, 100, it can be a recurring gift. Go ahead and do that. They just want to hear from 1,000 of us. So that's important that we can do that. And yeah, so homecoming was a big deal this weekend. But before we get into our thing, I saw this online this weekend and just wanted to get y'all thoughts. Ari the Don, famous artist, says, why are grown adults at college homecoming? Is that normal? I'm genuinely asking because I didn't go to a big college that did stuff like that, but it seems so off. I thought that was for the kids in school. So I'm not going to beat her up too bad. But she's not the first person that I've seen say this. I've seen people question why adults are going to homecoming. And the first thing I would urge those people to do is just do a little basic English, right? And the word homecoming means you come home, right? I think that's what I gather from that. And so the students they're not coming home. They're already home in the school sense. So they're already there. So who are they talking to when they say homecoming? They're talking to people who are no longer, at home. They are in their respective lives. And so homecoming is absolutely, I'd even argue that homecoming isn't even for the students, right? I'd even make that argument that it's not even for them. Homecoming is for the people who came through that institution, right? Who finished, and you didn't even really have to finish, but the people who came through the institution, and they come back and they patronize it and they give back with money and all the things. And so that's who it's for. And it's to celebrate like the legacy of the institution. I mean, I would argue it has nothing to do with students. Now, the students benefit because it's on campus, and then they have a week full of events. They got the step show, they got the carnival extravaganza, better known as Goombay, the rap concerts, and all these things that are for them, right? Like they don't get to like not participate. But at the same time, again, I think homecoming, it is designed for alumni to come back and love on their school again one more time. It's one weekend out of the whole year, right? And so, yeah, I disagree with this take, and it's weird because she's not the first person I've seen say that, and I'm like, yeah, you couldn't have gone to an HBCU saying that, because that homecoming is the payoff, right, for going to an HBCU, being able to come back and again just enjoy and kick back and all the things. So yeah, that was kind of strange. At any rate, what y'all think about that? Let me see what y'all are doing in the comments. Mr. Hunt says, yeah, wow, crazy for her to say that about homecoming. Absolutely. Homecoming has no limits. I think it's probably where I fall, that there's no limits to it. If you go to the school or went to the school, that's who it's for. Teachers included, like staff included, everybody that's working, like it's for everybody. What else we got? Yeah. So anyways, so let's talk about homecoming. Let's talk about it. I saw a lot of good this weekend. And first of all, I met some of you. I met some of the people who I had never seen before. And I met a lot of you. But before I even jump into that, let me just say this. I was taken aback. And I even told Michelle, I'm just like, it was a bit overwhelming because a lot of you came up to me and people who I didn't know, and people I I didn't know you, and some people came up to me. A lot of people came to me, not some, quite a few people came up to me and reaffirmed the necessity of what we're doing here with this show. And so I got so many kind words from a lot of people. And again, that was a bit, I was taken aback by that because you guys really have showed me that what we're doing here, it's necessary, and it's not like a waste of time for anybody. Not for me. It's always been a labor of love, but I've always felt like, am I really making a difference, or are people really listening? And this, I would say, over the last maybe 7 or 8 months, like I've had that question answered and reaffirmed like over and over and over again. And on Saturday, I can't even tell you how many people just stopped me. People I didn't know, they was pulling, hey, you. Now let me say this. My name is Steven, y'all. Everybody's, not everybody, but people was calling me the Av. And so it's cool because I know what you mean. But yeah, I do got a name. So, but nonetheless, I was still thankful that, you guys were showing me love on Saturday. That felt really good. And so I'm thankful for y'all. That aside, a couple of things that people, and this is going, I got a little bit of a bone to pick with some of the people who decided, now we've been doing this shuttle thing for 2 years now, and people are still trying to go park at the stadium. Y'all, use the shuttle. Use the parking shuttle. I know it might be a little bit of an inconvenience, like just like after the game when you're just like ready to go, and so you just want to go straight to your car. But here's the benefit of getting on that shuttle to go to the stadium as opposed to trying to wait in that traffic to park, is that they were expediting the buses to and from the stadium. So they were bypassing all the traffic. And so I know some people didn't like that. Like they didn't like how that system was, and I saw a couple of remarks, and people are, kind of fussing about the parking situation in the streets and saying that Daytona didn't handle it the way it needed to be handled. Y'all, the parking is what we have now is probably the best it's going to get from a parking situation. Like what we have is what we have, unless they widen that road, LPGA, 2 lanes, which maybe it could happen because they've developed, those subdivisions. But until they widen that road, or until they add other ways to get there, it's one way in, one way out. Like, it is what it is. I think what they've done up to this point, especially with the shuttle and the traffic flow, they've done actually a pretty commendable job. I don't know that there's any way to get people in any faster than they currently do. It's a 2-lane highway, so they got the shuttle now. So my suggestion to everybody is to use the shuttle. Like, if you ain't out to the stadium by 12:30, 1 o'clock at the latest, Don't even go on LPGA with your car, because you are going to cost yourself 2 hours because you trying to park, and you going to miss half the tailgate. And I see people do it every year. And Cookman administration, they have put forth the effort to fix that for us. And so I just think we got to give them some credit. And if you got there at 1 o'clock and you got on LPGA or 2 o'clock, listen, that's on you. That's poor planning. And so, yeah, give the school some credit. All right, I'm done with that. A couple of things I wanted to take note of that I thought was great was the new end zone experience that they had for those of you that were in the game. They had the experience down in the end zone. I think you paid a fee to go down, and they had to set up really nice down there. And so a lot of the who's who, and then some people who just had the money to pay for the ticket, was down there having a good time. I wasn't supposed to be down, and Dr. Brown kicked me out because she wanted to make sure that the people who was there was supposed to be there, and she was doing her job. And making sure, cause y'all know we'll try to, sneak in and out of places. So, but I appreciated that because what I noticed this year more than any other year is they were really on top of where you could and could not go. I saw some people getting kicked off the field who didn't have passes. Again, some people that were getting removed out of the end zone experience that didn't have correct access. That's really how it should be. So I wasn't mad or anything, but I was taken aback because normally, our access and security we'll be a little soft around the edges. So it's like, all right. But I'm thankful again that we're trying to be innovative with what we're doing, trying to find ways to again generate different experiences for the people that tailgate and give them opportunities to have just a different kind of experience, a more intimate, a more upscale kind of experience. I think it was a great idea. I think they need to keep that. I hope it goes to the point where they put another one in the other end zone and we got two of them going at the same time. And it's just, again, just a good time. So kudos to the team who put that together. I don't know who all did it, but I do know Dr. Brown she was one of the ones that was kind of like running it from what I saw on Saturday. So kudos to that team for that. That was great. Let's go to the comments for a second. See, shuttle was clutch. Everybody that rode the shuttle, I'm telling you, was like, listen. Big Joe said Steve is one of my best friends, and we got to hang out together this weekend for the 24th year in a row. It's been 24 years? That's crazy. Yeah, we hung out, man. A good time. Love y'all boys. Hello. Natasha says, stop waiting until the last minute to get down to the stadium. Listen, I'm with you when you right. Oh, this is a big one. Now here's where I'm gonna get on the school a little bit. I know there's only so much they can do here. The traffic, it is what it is. But we got to do something about the phone reception at the stadium. That's an issue. It is 2025. We should be able to find ways, and I'm pretty sure if we were to reach out to AT&T or a T-Mobile or Verizon, I'm pretty sure they have like portable cell towers that are used for like big events. I wonder if that's something that we could consider doing next year's or visiting or trying to figure that out, because it's really tough. And I'll tell you, it actually hurts the institution because people want to post their pictures like while it's happening. Like it just, you want to tag people, you want to text, you want to share it, and people have to wait till like literally the next day before they get to share their pictures or share their images or their videos. And that's kind of like a buzzkill. So I think the cell phone and reception, we ought to be looking at temporary ways to improve, cell phone access at the stadium. And it feels like by now they built like 2 or 3 new subdivisions that they'd at least have a phone tower, a new phone tower out there, but I guess not. So that's something that I really think we gotta, that's worth looking at to me. I think it'll help the experience as well. Boosters, indeed, Steve. Yeah. It's a dead zone. It is. Listen, soon as I turned on LPGA, I had no bars. I'm soon as I hung that right, I looked at my phone and it was like no service. So I don't know if they just cut it off and there's no towers and they stopped, but I mean it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, hotspot technology. Yeah, I'm not even talking about hotspots. I'm talking about an actual portable towers. They have those, like the telecom companies, they have them. Natasha says, I will be on that committee. Well, all right. So yeah, the experience was good. Again, I was only there for barely 24 hours. I only went back to campus so that I could support our sponsor, About Time Food Truck. I went and got my plate, and then I went and ate. chilled out, and then I went to the SIP, which I thought that was a great event. We were trying to decide which one we were going to go to. I think last year I went to the R&B event, so this year I went to the SIP and supported like all the people that put that together. I think Shannon was one of the people on like all the flyers and stuff, so wanted to go support them, and it was a good time. Loved the venue, hated the parking, but I think I think it was cool. I felt like DJ was kind of lacking something on, you know what I'm saying? I felt like, I don't know. And then we ended like so abruptly, and I'm like, man. But anyways, I'm not gonna hate. It was still a good time. Got to see a lot of people that I didn't get to see at the game, so the sip was cool. It was a good time. They was also charging too much for drinks, but I'm gonna leave that there. So all right, did I hit that? I'm trying to make sure I hit everything. Oh, and let me shout out the Hell Wildcats tailgate, the Hell Wildcats Gridiron show that comes on Thursday night. I went over there and met with Jerry Bell and Daryl Williams, and the other names of the gentlemen elude me, CC and Coach, and I went and met everybody, their whole team, and it was such a pleasure to meet all the Hell Wildcats family, and yeah, that was cool. That was cool. So kudos to y'all for doing y'all thing. They had a great setup over there too. They was cooking all kind of food. So let's talk a little bit about y'all ain't even been paying attention, but let me tell y'all something. We got another SWAC champ, and it's from our track and field. I know we don't pay attention to track and field that much, but this is a big deal, y'all, because and I'll explain why a little bit later, but listen, our athletic program is cooking, and I'm gonna prove it to you. If you just hang out, I'm gonna prove it to you in a second. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Yeah, I knew it. Larry and Ralph. I'm sorry, y'all. I met y'all. I know y'all. I watch y'all every week. I just drew a blank. But we are buoyed by I think the gentleman here in the center. I forget his name, and I had it written down, but he's a really good. I think the kid has broke like several SWAC records, and he's got the singles title, and then now the SWAC cross country just won the team title for men's, and so they're crushing it right now. And kudos to them. Kudos to the coach. I think the coach just won SWAC Coach of the Year. So Bethune-Cookman is starting to rack up the championships and the trophies again. And again, I'm gonna prove it to you in 1 second how well things are going. And now I want to talk about my favorite topic, the volleyball team. We had 8 straight. I felt like I was saying 5 straight like yesterday, and then I blinked and they done won another 3 games. And I think there are like 3 or 4 games left in the season. They're likely gonna, well, not likely, they're probably gonna be a top seed in the tournament. And they could legit, win it all. And that would be another SWAC championship in our cap, and so that would be huge. But big shout out to Coach Williams and to the young ladies of the volleyball team. They are, if I've been saying this for the last 3 weeks, if you just get a chance to see them and see their energy and the fun, and they just feel so pure. Like some teams just feel like they're just having so much fun, and they are. And it's evident in like how they play, how they support each other, and how they're just cutting the food over there on the sidelines. And Coach Williams, she can't do nothing because they're winning. Because if she tries to stop them and they lose, then it's gonna be her fault. So she got to let them sit over there in that corner and cut the food every time they got a game. Because if we're being honest, that's probably why they're winning. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, kudos to the volleyball team. They got the next game against Alabama A&M. Friday at Moore Gymnasium, another home game. So if you are in Daytona, go see the volleyball team. They are cooking right now, y'all. If I was there, I would have been at every game. But I'm not. So I'm relying on somebody from Daytona to be there. And if you're going, bring a friend. Like, you know how they say in church, bring somebody. Go to the game and bring somebody, and make Moore Gymnasium an incredibly tough place to play. All right. Let's see. All right. All right, y'all. So I need to set the record straight on something. I need to set the table for this. So last week, if you all remember, Dr. Mosley was on the show and we had an amazing conversation. Like, we were talking about everything. We talked about BCU Global. We talked about BCU Futures. We talked about the money he's been bringing in. We talked about all of the new programs. And I think I'm going to take the blame on this. I asked him a question. I didn't think he was going to answer it as directly as he did, but he answered it. And so last week, someone asked in the comments if the band was going to be making the trip to Jackson State. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to ask him. I'm like, well, I'm I'm here talking to him now, so let me just ask. Let me just get it from the horse's mouth. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, he's gonna do the whole politician thing, and he's gonna like talk around the answer. And he actually gave a little bit more of a definitive answer than I think any of us was expecting. Him being a good president that he is, and I think he just wants to make sure that we are looking good, and that with those types of things, he's helping to keep us happy and energized. But unfortunately, y'all, I was I got a call Wednesday morning. I won't say from who. I got a call Wednesday morning to let you know that the band will not be traveling to Jackson State. That is not going to happen. And so I know there's been some rumors and there's been some speculation going on about if is the band going. And Dr. Mosley made some comments that seemed like they were going to try to make it happen. And I think it kind of got a little more energy than I think, than it was necessary. But at the end of the day, the band is not going to Jackson State. And it's really for a couple of reasons. And it all really makes sense when you think about it. The Jackson State game is in 3 weeks. If you've been to Jackson, you know how small of a town Jackson is. It's hard to get to, and there's not a lot of accommodations for a group as large as ours to go there. And so trying to find, hotel rooms and accommodations in Jackson, Mississippi, 3 weeks before game is impossible. And so I'm not gonna say it's impossible. It's just probably not, the juice is probably not worth the squeeze in terms of like logistics. And so they're not going because of that. And so, and I'll be honest, I talked to Mr. Wells and he told me that it's too tough to get the band to Jackson State. And so trying to do it in 3 weeks or 4 weeks is just not really in the cards. It wasn't in the budget. They normally have the band budget in the trips that they're going to go to. That's normally decided on in the summer. And unless there's some influx of cash or some budgetary modifications during the season, maybe they can make a change. But generally speaking, where the band is traveling to during the football season, normally that's determined in the summer. And so what I found out was that, we're not going. And so, yeah. And Brianna says, now watch us go 5-1 going into the SWAC game. Oh, I told y'all that was going to happen 2 weeks ago. I knew that was going to happen. No, you can't take the blame because y'all ask questions in the comments, right? So my thing is, I'm gonna ask it because y'all want me to ask it, and especially if I'm talking to the president, like I'm gonna ask it. And my theory or my thing is, the worst they can say is no. Like the worst they can say is nope, can't go. And I'm like, all right, I asked. So I'm gonna take the blame because I probably should have primed him for that question before I asked it, and I didn't. So yeah, it's not you. It's not you. Let's say that's okay. We can prepare. Oh, and that was actually the other point that Mr. Wells had made to me. was that it's the week before Classic, and trying to prepare for the Classic and traveling the week before is just another, like, that's tough. And for the people out that are in the band, you know how just insane it is those 2 weeks before Classic. And so now you're trying to add a show in, especially at Jackson State, because you can't go there with no base show. Like, you got to go to Jackson with a full show, and then have to come back and do Classic in a week. That's tough. That's tough because Classic are normally our biggest shows. They got all the anything extra that we're going to do in the show is going to be during our Classic show, and then they got to prepare for the Battle of the Bands on Friday night. It's impossible. So for a number of reasons, it was never even a real possibility, if we're being honest. I just think it came up in conversation. Dr. Mosley now was feeling good, and that happened, and so that kind of spread out, and it shouldn't have. So again, I'm gonna take that one. Not to Gerard, that's not on you. It's on me, brother. I'm gonna take it. What are your thoughts about the overall travel of the band? How other schools view our band not coming to them and expecting the program not? Yeah, and you know what? And that's actually a great point. One of my frustrations, and I got to move on after this because I still got to talk football. One of my frustrations is that a lot of schools will talk mess about Bethune-Cookman program, the band not traveling, and you can always ask. You can rebut the question with, how many of y'all programs have been to Daytona, right? To the schools that are always, y'all don't travel, y'all don't go. I'm like, when has Jackson State ever been in Daytona, right? When has Southern ever been in Daytona? Now, Southern did go to Jacksonville in like 2006, but we don't get visitors in Daytona very often. I was surprised Alabama A&M came, but I think that might have been an agreement because we were supposed to go to them last year, but the hurricane happened. So I just think this was going to be a return trip. So we don't get visitors in municipal, especially from the SWAC. I don't even know, MEAC, the MEAC bands, they would come. But yeah, the SWAC, yeah, I don't, you can probably maybe 2 or 3 bands, maybe 4 since we've been in the SWAC have been to Daytona. And so for them to be like, y'all don't travel, I'm like, well, y'all don't travel to us. So why are y'all, pardon my French, bitching at us because we don't travel? And that's my one curse word tonight, y'all. All right, I'm done. So yeah, we've had the last, let's see that. We've had a last second travels in my day. No, I was with you. Now, I remember back then, yes, we actually had last second travels where we wasn't going to a game, and the next thing you know, Monday we walk in the band room and Mr. Woods is like, we going, or the week before, like, we going to A&T this week, and it wasn't on the schedule. That has happened, but that hasn't been the case, I would probably say, in the last 10 years. Maybe we haven't seen the band have an unexpected trip added to the schedule. So, it happens. So, setting the record straight, the Marching Wildcats will not be in Jackson, Mississippi. I don't know when the game is, but yeah, they won't be there. All right, let's talk some football, y'all. Listen, we didn't play a great game Saturday, but we played a good enough game to impose our will, and the offense did their thing to win the game. Good teams win even when they don't play their best, and the fact that we still scored 31 points lets you know that this is not the same Bethune-Cookman, right? The team is good. And so we can stop wondering if we're going to wake up and we're going to lose 5 straight. That's not going to happen because we are good enough in all of the key places. We are good enough at quarterback. We are good enough at running back. We're actually not good enough. We are superior at running back. We're really good at receiver. And the defense does just enough to get the stops they need. Sometimes we can be a little bend but don't break defense, but generally speaking, our defense gets stops when we need stops, and that's how you win games, and that's how you win titles. And we have set ourselves up for a crazy last 3 games. We get a break. Let me not say that, because Mississippi Valley State, we should dominate them, but that could also be a trap game if we're not careful, because the next 3 games are very important. And I think I got it pulled up. Yes, our next. So we got Mississippi State. They are 0-3 in conference. We've beaten them the last 2 years, even when we've been at our worst. So they are that much worse of a program than we've ever been. And we're a good program again now, and they're still a bad program. So if you just don't even look at stats or anything, we should win on Saturday. We're also at home, where we're undefeated. We should win on Saturday, but it does feel a little trap gamey. So I don't know. It feels a little trap gamey, but my instinct says we blow them out pretty well. We handle business. And then these next 3, Grambling, Jackson State, and A&M, that's going to get sticky, and I'll tell you why. Grambling just beat Jackson State on Saturday. I would have preferred if we waited and we beat them, but they've got a loss, so that's cool. But Grambling just beat Jackson State, and so now that game in 2 weeks feels like a game where you can't go slacking. We got to play. Listen, we got to go maximum focus against Grambling, because they may be decent. If they can go in there and beat Jackson State, guess what, y'all? They can beat us. I don't think they do. I think we beat them. And then Jackson State's back is going to be up against the wall when they play us. I think the next couple of games are against teams they should beat. So they know, like, we're not sneaking up on Jackson State. They know we're going to be a tough out. And their backs in the conference is gonna hinge on that game. And if we beat Jackson State, there's a really good chance I think we could end up in Atlanta in December, which would be amazing. It would be absolutely amazing. And so, like, we gotta, it could get, these next 4 are going to be really, all of them for different reasons are huge games. And then Classic, y'all already know, like, you can't count that. And FAMU's actually picking it up a little bit the last couple of weeks. So you gotta treat them with some respect. For a little while there, I thought they were mailing it in. Now they weren't looking good, but the last couple of weeks they got a couple of key wins, and now all of a sudden they're right there too. And so the Classic is going to be as big as it's been in a long time, especially if we win these next 2 or 3. Y'all can expect probably the best Classic we've had in over a decade. It's going to be big. So yeah. So right now we're tied with Alabama State and let's see. Yeah, right now we're tied with Alabama State and Jackson State for first in the East. And so, yeah, I mean, we just got to go out there and play ball. We got to go out there and play ball. Right now, there's not a team out there that I feel like we can't beat. But again, we got to go out there and do it. Somebody says they lost a QB. Is that Alabama State that lost a QB or Jackson State? No, maybe it was Jackson State. I don't know. Oh, Grambling. Grambling lost their QB. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. But still, that's something to consider. So you remember I told y'all that our athletic program is like in some rare air. So look at this. These are our big programs. Baseball, if you guys remember, they just won the SWAC in the spring. Cross country just won the SWAC this weekend. BCU volleyball, they're on an 8-game win streak, second in the SWAC, and on track to maybe win it, right? BCU basketball is preseason number 1 in the SWAC, right? BCU football is tied for first in the SWAC East with a chance to win the SWAC. And BCU softball, not as strong, but they're playing well. But not now, but last season they finished 3rd in the SWAC East. I don't know what we did to get back to where we are from a athletic standpoint, but this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible that all of our big sports teams either have a chance to win a SWAC title or are right there in the mix being competitive. And that's saying a whole lot. Do y'all realize like how good our track team is like they've been, and we ain't got no damn track? Like what? Like we don't have a track, or we got a strip, right? That's amazing. And I think that speaks to the spirit of our founder. I think it speaks to the spirit and the culture of the of the university, that we've always, and y'all hear me say this all the time, that Bethune-Cookman, generally speaking, always punches well above its weight class. Look at, and I hate to use them as a example, but that school up north, they have 4 or 5 times the population. They've got better facilities. They've got all the things. They've got everything. And yet we find ourselves being able to compete with not only them, but everybody in the SWAC. And yeah, football has been down the last few years, but I knew it was only going to be a matter of time before the football program woke up. And the minute they woke up and once that day came, it was going to be lights out for the institution, because like when your sports programs do really good, especially football, it trickles down to enrollment increases when you win championships, money increases, like opportunities increases, exposure. All of those things have a net positive effect on the institution. So it's actually advantageous or operationally prudent for us to, again, invest in our sports programs. I know people feel like, well, sports, they get all this and they get all that, but a lot of the time those are your biggest marketing machines, and they're generating either, maybe not big dollars, especially on our level, but they're getting eyeballs to the institution. When the basketball team, if they go preseason number 1, they finish number 1 and they win the SWAC and they go to the tournament, do you know how many people are going to find out that Bethune-Cookman exists that don't currently know? Like, that's huge. And so you can't buy that type of exposure. And so it's really it's important that, again, we support our athletics, and that, when they do good, it's going to be a net positive for us. And it's not, I know, again, we like to feel a way about athletics sometimes because they feel like they make it different kind of treatment than a normal student would. But if you realize their output from an exposure and a financial standpoint, man, you can't put a price on it. Let me go to these comments. It says, so we have a chance in Mississippi. I don't know what you mean by that. You mean Mississippi State? Wait, hold up. What was curse word 2? I thought I said 1. What else I said? Dang. All right. Well, all right. I got 3. I got 3 a night. So I got 1 more. I'm gonna try not to use it though. Oh Lord. We don't even. God dog. I sure did say that. God dog. Look at this one. Why y'all tracking my curse words? I have to put a curse word tracker up in the corner or something like that so I can track myself? That's messed up, man. But yeah. So yeah, all the things, right? I'm really happy with where we are as an institution, especially coming off a great homecoming and like all the things. And I'm just thankful again that like the institution just feels good again. It feels warm. It feels inviting. I know one of the questions Michelle had last week was, were there gonna be lights on the campus? And I went out there, and to my surprise, it was well lit. I know the area by the Delta tree, or the old Delta tree, where they chopped it down, that still was a little dark from what I saw, like some videos and stuff. But it did feel like it felt inviting. The last couple of years, you went to the yard and it was like it felt like they didn't even want us on the yard. Like it was like, okay, y'all do y'all little thing, do y'all songs and y'all rituals, and y'all get off the yard. That's how it felt. And it seemed like from like last week, up until Sunday, the campus was just like, yes, y'all please come. Y'all come have a good time. Come hang out. Come have fun. Come fellowship. Come meet. Talk to teachers. Talk to friends and family. So it felt great. And I didn't get a chance. I wanted to do my man on the street bit this year and ask my funny questions and stuff. But y'all, I've been burning the candle from both ends. Let me tell you what I did on Friday. My daughter turned 18. Oh, okay. I'm going to end the show right here. My daughter, Madison, and I want y'all to wish her happy birthday, turned 18 on Friday. And it's really significant. I almost wasn't going to make it to homecoming because of that. And it was also her senior night. And so it was bittersweet because homecoming is like a ritual for us, but my oldest daughter Madison turning 18 and it was senior night. But what's crazy about that is Madison grew up on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University, so it was really one of those full circle moments that she's finally 18, and me and Michelle are fist bumping each other because it's like, whew, we did it. Because if y'all knew how we started out we made life a little bit tougher on us, if you know what I mean. But 18 years later, she's doing her thing, and she's about to graduate, and she's captain in all the clubs. Like she's a phenomenal student, phenomenal kid. So yeah, so we did all that on Friday, and she ended up going out of town on Saturday, which opened up my Saturday, so I was able to come. And so yeah, it's just been it was a whirlwind for me on Saturday to even make it, and I was on fumes by the time I got back. And so when I tell y'all, the night after this show, I got a bowl of Chipotle and a couple of shows I'm gonna catch up on before I go to sleep, and I'm gonna just take it easy for the next few days because I've been running literally since last Friday. And so I thank y'all for let me do my thing and let me I don't know if tonight was as sharp as I needed to be. I didn't have a guest, nothing like that, but I've been rolling. I have been rolling. And so again, thank everybody. I don't have no more news. That's all I got. Go to the comments before we get out of here. Everybody wishing Madison a happy birthday, which I appreciate y'all. And yeah, me and Michelle, we got together. We was in the band, That's how we met. So listen, I thank y'all. Carter says you're a great father. I try to be. I really do try to be. It's good to be. It's good to be a good person. I try to raise my daughters to be good humans. So I would hope that we are all doing that with our kids. So, all right, I'm going to stop rambling because you all have been great. Thank you all for wishing Madison a happy birthday. Again, she's grown now. I told her that she's been I've been telling her since she was like 2 that she's on an 18-year lease. And what I mean by that is when you turn 18, you off the lease and you on your own. Well, she's not really on her own. Her mama won't let me cut her off, but I've been telling her that, so she could get her life together, so she not mooching off of us for the rest of her life. We are raising young adults, praying adults. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I love y'all, man. That's all I got. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Make sure that if you want to contribute to the show, you do so by hitting us up on, I always do this, hitting us up on our Cash App, Become a Real MVP. And we may or may not have a show next week. I don't know yet, but y'all know I keep y'all in the loop if we're going to cancel, but I don't know yet. We'll see. And yeah, that's all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Great homecoming. Hail Wildcats. And we'll see y'all next time. All right. Peace.